Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Japan Stories presented by Okashicon Online. I hope y'all are having a wonderful weekend. I see that most of the gang is not yet here, so maybe I'll stall for a few minutes with some announcements. I know that some people will probably be coming in a little bit late today, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. I will say we're going to be talking about a lot of food today. If you're a foodie, this is definitely the presentation for you. But you might want to go grab a snack, grab a drink, because hopefully I will be tantalizing your taste buds for about an hour today, maybe a little bit more. So let's see. Still not a lot of people in yet. That's okay. This Sunday is just so gray and kind of sleepy, so I understand if people are kind of taking a nap. I hope that if you are watching this on the replay, you are also grabbing yourself a snack, because I think today's food is some of the best that I've shown so far. Let me check our announcements for the day. We do have a fundraiser coming up, Okashicon Online. Okashicon presents Pride Prism Power Makeup, which is an out youth online fundraiser through Zoom. There is information available on our Facebook, on the Okashicon Facebook. You do have to pre-book in advance, and it is on the 6th of December, so it does not conflict with any of our other online presentations. Also tonight, we have a very special edition of Demo Doom Okashicon. So our gamer guys are going to be playing Doom tonight. It's a special presentation. They have something up their sleeves. We don't know what it is, so hopefully we can be surprised when it comes up later. But that is tonight, starting at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. They are actually in Eastern Time. That's why it gets a little confusing when we throw up the time zones on there. But hopefully you saw that. It is on this channel, this space, and a couple of hours, about 5 hours from now. So a couple more people have popped in and then popped back out again. So, where are y'all today? It's okay. Do I have any more announcements? Yes, so please recall that on the 5th of December, so that's the first Saturday of the month, we have anime afternoons. Hi, I'm seeing some comments in the chat. I appreciate y'all. On the 5th of December, which is the first Saturday of the month, we do have anime afternoons, and this particular event will be a very special event for here at Okashicon Online. So normally we have a holiday party. As you know, the anime afternoons are usually live, and this year it won't be, but we do still have holiday gifts and giveaways with some really big giveaway prizes coming up, and we have clips of holiday anime, but we also have interviews with the artists that had scheduled for this month, but unfortunately, because I was ill, we had to reschedule. So it's going to be a big bonanza next month. It should be a lot of fun, and I hope that you will join us on, again, it is Saturday, December 5th at 3 p.m. Central Time. And then you may recall that we also have the Demo Disc Okashicon. They are usually on the second Sunday of the month, although like tonight they're playing Doom, but the second Sunday of the month they are doing their retro gaming expos. So that will be at their regular time. And I believe that is 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, got to get those time zones. I don't have that memorized in my head, but you can always check on our schedule here on Twitch, or you can check on our social media, which will have the correct dates and times for all of our presentations. Then on the second Monday of the month, we have Make Your Monday, again with me. And this time we will be talking about using fabric to wrap gifts. So if you have holiday gifts that you are preparing to wrap in a creative presentation, maybe in a reusable and sustainable way instead of using wrapping paper, then this is definitely a presentation that you will be interested in. It is fairly simple, does not require any specific skills. If you can tie your shoes, you can tie a furoshiki, and also doesn't actually require a furoshiki, as it were. You can use any kind of cloth, really. There's ways that you can fix it. I see more people have joined us. Thanks. I'm really excited. Please do go ahead and comment in the chat. We have some exciting stuff for you. I will remind you, grab some snacks, grab some drinks. This is going to be a very hungry kind of show today because it's so much food. I think that is all of our announcements. Hi, Lester Candy Cosplay. Y'all know every time I look there, that's me talking to y'all in the chat. So I should wave at the camera, but I haven't quite I don't quite do that. So this is me waving at y'all. What else do I have? So next month, I don't know if we are going to be doing Japan stories. So let me get this out of the way. Because it is in between Christmas and New Year's, I don't know if y'all are going to be interested in coming here. I think it's the 28th of December. If you are, I can do something fairly simple like long haul flight tips and tricks, like how to make it more comfortable on your 15-hour flight to Japan. These tips would be applicable for more than just going to Japan. Obviously, I traveled to Europe, I traveled to Australia. It's all the same, know-how. But if you'd be interested in that, let me know. If not, we will go ahead and skip Japan stories for December, give myself a break, and then going into the new year, we have some very interesting things lined up. I have a friend who is literally in the process this week of moving back from Japan after living there for 10 years. So I will be interviewing her about what it's like to, move to Japan. Not the visas part of it, she was transferred for work, but, like the culture shock, getting used to the foods, getting used to she's very into kimono, how to network in the community once you move to Japan. So that should be an interesting presentation for us. We're going to do one about disability access in all of Japan. Hopefully I'll have an interview with Josh Grisdale of Accessible Japan, but certainly be about my experiences working, as someone who's a mobility aid user, trying to get around, because there are a lot of difficulties. But once you know some tips, you can make it a lot easier, a lot more satisfying trip. So you can catch the stream if I'm doing it. Nothing wrong with taking a break either. I may go ahead and do the presentation just so that if people can't be live, they can watch it later. Obviously, all of our streams are available on the Akashicon website after the fact and on the Akashicon YouTube generally. If it's not on the Akashicon YouTube, it's usually because we have too many clips and they have they've given us a copyright ding, but we can still have them on our website. So whatever happens, anytime we have an Akashicon online that is on Twitch, we will have that available afterwards. Now, the ones that we have on Zoom, especially the ones that you have to pay a special admission for, like our fundraiser, those are not going to be available on our website afterwards. So do remember, if you're interested in our online fundraiser, check out our Facebook page and go ahead and sign up for that. That is December 6th. And I think, what else do I have coming up in the new year? In the new year, and March is going to be my favorite topic, which is Sakura, and where you can see cherry blossoms in Tokyo and some other places. So it's absolutely a subject near and dear to my heart. We will touch on it briefly today, but definitely March, we will spend the entire time talking about Sakura. So I think our usual gang is here now, and I can move into today's presentation. Let me go ahead and get the slides up. Where to put my slides? There we go. Okay, so today we're going to talk about festivals and festival food. This was voted on by the people on my Instagram. So if you would like to have more influence on some topics after March, we don't know when we're going to be able to travel to Japan again. So how many of these things I'm going to have to pull out of the can, we don't know. But certainly I do polls on my Instagram, the Julianne in Japan Instagram, for topics coming up. And I will have polls on my Kintsugi Style Instagram for topics for Make Your Monday. So if you want more input, obviously you can email us, but certainly participate in the polls. So today, festivals and festival food. This is mostly going to be photos and videos, and it's going to be about 80% food. So again, I have some food here to munch on in case I get hungry. You'll probably get hungry too. There's not going to be a lot of these text slides. In fact, this is probably one of the last ones, because I'm just going to briefly talk about how I define a festival. I'll just say that in Japan, any given weekend, in most regions, probably not every city, but certainly major cities, and then in the regional area, you're going to find a festival of some variety. So if you are in Japan over a weekend, you will have an opportunity to attend a festival. Now, it may not be a big festival, it may not be a particularly unique one. Some of them are like festivals at shopping centers, but still, there is something on all the time. And the main ones we will be talking about today are flower viewing festivals. So they certainly, well, they also have like maple leaf ones, but I have been to sakura festivals. I have been to chrysanthemum festivals. There are azalea festivals, tiger lily festivals. There's all kinds of, any excuse, really in Japan, any excuse for a festival, they will put one on. I'm also going to briefly talk about hanami, which is the parties that you have for sakura viewing. Hana literally means flower, and mi means to watch or to look at. So hanami parties. Food. I'm glad that you are looking forward to the food, because we will be getting into shortly, because every single festival, what it has in common is festival food. And you'll notice that no matter what kind of festival it is, it's going to have the same kind of festival food. So when I proposed the topic of festivals on my Instagram, everyone just said, you are going to talk about the food, right? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's the main thing to talk about. So again, we're going to be talking about flowers and hanami festivals and hanami, because that is what I've attended the most of. But we will also talk a little bit about music and entertainment festivals. I can't show you a lot of video of that for copyright reasons. I do have a little bit though, and I will talk about the Koenji Festival that I attended last year. It's a little bit like when South by Southwest was still cool and underground. So if you are into like new music and just walking around the streets and literally bumping into people performing on the street corner, Koenji Festival every October is a really cool place. Dance festivals I have not attended a lot of, but I do have a short clip of one that I did stumble across randomly. Again, I think pretty much everyone I know who's been to Japan more than 1 or 2 times has stumbled randomly into a festival. They're that common. And then finally, I will talk about the religious festivals. I have only attended one so far. I have not attended any of the big parade ones where they have the mikoshi or the floats. And there is a reason for that, is that, as you know, I have disabilities and I am a part-time wheelchair user and I'm a full-time mobility aid user. So I have to be able to sit down. I can't stand up. And the crowds are enormous. One of the festivals I thought about attending last year has 1 million people. So the crowds are huge. And if you're sitting down, you can't see very well. And also, because of my disease, my joints dislocate very easily. And apparently, in these large festivals where the mikoshi are going around, or where there's the big parades, people are bumping into you and jostling you a lot. So for me, it's not very safe. That is why I have not attended the sort of parade style festivals very much. But I have attended a really cool religious style festival, and we will get to that at the end. And let me just go ahead. We'll just get started, because we're going to get some food, and more food for the most part. But, you know, I'll show you a little bit of the actual excuse. I'm just going to call it the excuse, what the festival is about. But then it's really just an excuse to gather up all the food. So let's get started. This is a sakura festival, the first one that I'll be showing you. I'm not going to show you most of the sakura, just so you know. We're going to save that for March. I'm going to show you the sakura festival part of it. So in this case, the very first one I'm going to show you is at Hamarikyu Gardens. I'm seeing, so sorry, looking in the chat, I almost attended the Indonesia-Japan Friendship Festival last year, but dropped it to the rookie mistake of over-planning. Have I been? Is it worth a look? I have not been to that, but I will show you later. I went to a special Okinawa festival in Tokyo. So that was really cool, and we'll be getting to that when we're in like the entertainment section, entertainment festivals. Again, we stumbled into it completely randomly, because at Ueno Park every weekend there's something. Sometimes it's really boring, sometimes it's exciting, but and we have a spammer, so oh well, we will ignore the spammer. So this particular, so actually I said Hamarikyu, it's not Hamarikyu, it's Rikugien Gardens. They have very famous sakura, weeping sakura tree. And hi, Safi, glad that you came back with lunch. That is appropriate, because you are absolutely going to be wanting to eat while this is on. So this festival grows up around one particular tree, just one tree. It is a huge weeping sakura, so it's like, I mean, it's big canopy. It is an enormous ancient tree, several hundred years old. And they have then, when it's time for that one to be in bloom, they have all these pop-up stalls, and some of it is selling merchandise, and a lot of it is selling food. So this is, as you can see, there is some English on the signs. You don't normally have to worry too much. They know that tourists are coming. Let me have a sip of water, because one of the reasons why I was sick last time, y'all, is I got dehydrated. So make sure you nag me. Make sure I have some liquid throughout the entire show, or I may be passing out again. So that's not good. Let's look at some of the things that you could see at the Rikugian Gardens Hanami Festival. Sakura Festival. This is relevant for those of you who watch the Make Your Monday, because all of those items there are dyed with sakura tree wood. Yes, sakura tree wood. My teacher has some. I smuggled some into the country. I have not yet used it to attempt dyeing, but that is something that is on my agenda. I think I need more wood, but obviously wood's something you're not really supposed to bring into the country, although once it's dried and processed, you can. So it probably wasn't illegal for me to bring it in, but you know, live plants, definitely forbidden. But it creates this peachy color, which I think is really interesting. Now, peach is not really my thing, but I do want to try dyeing with sakura wood itself. But as you know, sakura trees themselves are not usually a peach color, so that's just an interesting quirk of nature. Let's start with the food. This was the first festival we attended, so this was our first foray into festival food. So this is obviously dango that has been coated in kinoko and has the sweet soy sauce on top of it. You can get dango here in Austin. It's not usually got the kinoko on it, although you can get a warabi mochi, which is basically dango kinoko, at Kuru Evolving Sushi. Yes, Timisaurus is my husband. He will be popping up and saying, "That's me," throughout this, because obviously he was with me for a lot of these festivals. So yes, this is the warabi mochi, or mitarashi dango, I believe is what it's called when it becomes a dango. The names change, whether it's on a stick or not. And as Timmy will say, the number one commonality in festival food is that more than half of it is on a stick. So if you saw my first Japan stories where we looked at Nishiji Market in Kyoto, food on a stick is very much a theme in our household. He really likes food on a stick. So there's a lot of it. Everything, you can get everything on a stick. You can get ice cream on a stick. You can get anything on a stick. So let's move on a little. I got Sakura ice cream, which I really love. If you have never eaten sakura flavored foods, it is a little bit floral and a little bit salty, because the way that you eat sakura blossoms is it has to be pickled in salt. Yeah, I wanted to make some allusions to State Fair food. So I see y'all are talking about that in the comments, but State Fair food is all deep fried, right? And I remember North Carolina, they came up with deep fried Kool-Aid at one point. I'm not really sure how that works. Now, it's not all deep fried, but it's probably like 90% deep fried. Certainly State Fair of Texas. Other states are a little bit better, like North Carolina. My parents live in North Carolina, so I've been to that state fair. They have a wine tasting area. That one's pretty good. And then they also have Paula Deen's Krispy Kreme double bacon cheeseburger so it's a double bacon cheeseburger in a Krispy Kreme donut. So that one technically is not deep fried, but it's still not healthy for you. But we're not really going to talk about American festival food, because I would probably put on weight just talking about it. I see Misty says she loves snow cones in Japan. I have some to show you later. Snow cones are not usually in a cone over there, but they are called kakigori and is shaved ice, and that is pretty common for festivals. We will see some of it throughout. Let's see what we've got. Oh, amazake. So I should note that on my Twitter feed, which is Kintsugi Style, I did ask a lot of people living in Japan what their favorite festival foods were. And one that came up quite often was amazake. Now, because of that, Timmy Source, my wonderful husband, did make some amazake for us last night. Yesterday all day, and we were able to finally drink it last night. Now, what this is, let me see if I can get it to the camera where you can see it without too much. I don't know, I guess there's a little bit of glare. You can see that there's rice down here, but this is rice porridge and koji. Koji is a mold that is used for fermentation. Don't think of that as gross, just think of it as like yogurt, because yogurt also has a fermenting fungus involved. All yeast is a fungus, so if you want to say yeast, you can say yeast. But this creates a sweet drink. Now, although it does say sake in the title, so like from sake, this would be the first step of making sake. This is before it becomes alcoholic. In fact, you do stop the process after a few hours, so there's no alcohol involved. It is suitable for children. It is served usually hot at these festivals, can also be served cold. It is known as a health drink because it's very high in vitamins. It is sweet, although there is no sugar. That is just the fermented rice letting out some of the sugars, starches in the rice. Very suitable for children. It used to be only for New Year's, but now it's available at festivals in the spring and fall as well. I don't know about summer. I've never been to a festival in the summer, but certainly amazake is an amazing, amazing drink, and you can make it at home pretty easily in a rice cooker or Instant Pot. So if you're interested, I can share the recipe later. Let me have a sip. It is really beautiful. It's nice hot or cold. It's supposed to be excellent for your skin. Once you take some of the leftover rice, you can make a face mask out of it and stay as ageless as those wonderful Japanese ladies who don't seem to age at all until they're 80. I'm not there. I mean, I've obviously aged much more than that, but maybe the secret is just putting more rice on my face. We'll see. Check me out in a year's time. Maybe I'll look even younger. But let's move back to the important things, the food. So another Sakura festival that we attended was at Sensoji Temple. Just, oh God, that meme. I'm not even sure which meme you're talking about because there are too many of them. You can tell me in the comments, Lester Candy Cosplay. But this is Sensoji Temple. What is kind of sad is you may notice they only have a couple of big sakura trees. So they put up artificial sakura there just to have an excuse. This was a really windy day when we were there, so actually some of the tents were blowing away in the wind. I didn't show you the video of that. It was kind of embarrassing for them. But, oh, the one that looks the same until, yeah, oh yeah, that one that just went around like last week where the lady looks identical and then she just gets slightly smaller. Yeah, that is so true. Like Japanese women, I think, when they turn 16, they look 30, and then they look 30 until they're 80. And they just never age. I mean, look at Sammy. She hasn't aged in 20 years. So, so jealous. Anyway, back to the food. This is what you really want, isn't it? So this was a weekday. So this festival is set up for 2 weeks at Sensoji Temple. And honestly, there's no entertainment. It's just looking at the few, they only have about 10 sakura trees that happen to be in bloom, and then eating all the festival food. So, like I said, any excuse for a festival, and then it becomes probably the same people come out to every festival that's at this particular temple all the time. So, it doesn't matter what festival excuse they come up with, it's going to be the same food. So let's start looking at what these festival foods are. I'm just showing you there's a lot of little ladies in kimonos that are still wandering around too. So I see some beer there. I see crab. I will be showing you some close-ups of some of these in a minute. Let's see what else we have. Okonomiyaki, one of my personal favorites. You may know that I can't eat American gluten because I'm allergic to Roundup and some of the herbicides that are used in the producing of wheat in the United States, but I can have Japanese wheat, and so I love okonomiyaki over there. It is so good. People call it a Japanese pancake. That's completely not true. I mean, except for the fact that it has batter and it's flat. There's no connection with American or English pancakes whatsoever. It has a lot of cabbage, lots of vegetables, very savory, has delicious sauce on top of it. I will show you more later because I definitely, it's one of my favorite festival foods and I would eat it a couple of times. But let's see what else we have. Ayu sweet fish. We are going to see this at pretty much every festival. This is fish on a stick. So I'm going to be quick here because we will definitely see it over and over. What else have we got? There we go. There's the shaved ice, the kakigori stand. You may see that there is this symbol there. You can kind of see a big red symbol underneath the awning, and you can also see the symbol for water on top of the awning. In fact, the red above that, so you're looking at the guy in the trench coat, and above that, it literally says kaki, and then the symbol for water, but that becomes kakigori. So shaved ice, lots of different flavors. They're different ways that they make kakigori in Japan. So there's sometimes they have all kinds of elaborate toppings. Sometimes they're quite simple, like an American snow cone. And at festivals, they tend to have more of the simple version. But I did have one where they freeze the flavoring in the ice, and then when they grind it, it's already got all the flavoring in it. You're not squirting it on top. So I personally like that one a little better. Let's see what else we have. Meat on a stick. Yakitori, as you would call it, although actually it's yakiniku, I believe, because yakitori, we tend to lump all meat on a stick as yakitori, but tori technically means bird or chicken. But if you go to a Japanese restaurant in the United States, they'll call it yakitori, but over there they do have different names for the different types of meat. As you can see, big slabs of raw meat, and they will grill it for you. Very tasty. If you're interested in Wagyu beef, this is usually one of the cheapest ways to get some Wagyu. It's obviously not the best cuts, but it's the only way you're going to get it for less than $10, to be honest. Let's see what else we have. Oh, see, there's the okonomiyaki guys again. I'm just going to show you. They have these huge grills, and these are portable. They set these stalls up for a couple of days or 2 weeks. Yakitori, big pieces of green onion. That sounds delicious. There is a restaurant in Japan, if you are interested, called Torizoku, and all it is yakitori, different kinds of yakitori, and you just go and you order, you know, I want this cut of meat, and I want that type of vegetable, you know, mushrooms, whatever, and all they do is they bring you food on a stick for as long as you can keep paying for it. I mean, you do pay per stick, but, you know, you can stay there for hours and keep eating it, so it is delicious. Maybe not healthy, but very delicious. Let's see what else we have. This was a personal favorite of mine. We definitely tried this out. These are sweet potatoes, sweet potato fries. They are enormous. As you can see, that is my hand for scale. So there's a tiny cup and enormous sweet potato fries. And yes, those are coated with a mixture of sugar and salt. So it was very tasty. And you can see my rollator in the background there too. My rollator will be making several appearances just because it's always with me. So yeah, y'all can keep talking. The yakitori, there's like yakitori sauces that are really nice. So certainly you can go to some izakaya that specialize in yakitori, and there's about 3 traditional sauces that you can get. There's like a soy sauce based dipping sauce. There is just having it with salt, and then there's another one that's kind of a spicy, either a spicy marinade or a spicy sauce on that. So I can't have the spice, but oh, sorry, I stuck that guy in there twice. I just like Mizu. Sorry, I like Ayu that much. Let's see what else we have here. This is some taco. So taco octopus. I'm very allergic to that, so we'll skip over that for a minute because I actually have some video to show you later. What else have we got? That's the yakitori stand. Actually, you will notice that they're the same things. Same foods will repeat throughout a festival. So this is a different yakitori stand, but I'm just showing you the front of it so that you can tell. You can see that hanging kakigori sign, so that's your snow cone sign. You don't even have to know what it is because you can tell from that inflatable snow cone there. And then again, if you didn't know what the yakitori was, it is, yeah, as Timmy is saying, it's the cow, pig, chicken stand. So you can just go and eat cow, pig, or chicken. You don't need to know what it is. They do try to make it very tourist friendly wherever they possible. Hello Kitty on a stick was not Hello Kitty on a stick. I wish. I would totally eat Hello Kitty on a stick. It was Hello Kitty drinks. So those are kind of cool. But the only Hello Kitty, I have had Hello Kitty like cookies and things at a festival, but I've never had Hello. So you can see that's Hello Kitty eating something on a stick. Is probably I don't think I would eat cat on a stick. Just generally speaking, probably not gonna. But cat-shaped cookies, yeah, I'm there. Let's see what else we have. There we go. Oh no, sorry, it's Hello Kitty flavored chocolate bananas. I was so wrong. The one next to it is the drinks. So yes, it's Hello Kitty colored special sprinkles, and I believe they have like the little bow, the little hair bow like Hello Kitty has, goes on the chocolate bananas. Still not quite Hello Kitty on a stick, but you know, I'll take it. I am not a big fan of chocolate bananas. Timmy is a fan of chocolate bananas. We will see some more later. I just don't like the combination of banana and chocolate. I know, heathen. I should be, you know, excommunicated from the Church of Banana or something, but I like my bananas with peanut butter, just like Elvis. So anyway, let's move on. Let's show you some short videos. This is going to be a different Sakura festival in Ueno Park. But first, I have a short video that is just going to be sort of how big the crowds are, and then I have a guy cooking up some taco for you. So let's see these two videos. See, just short little ones for you. I just, again, wanted to show you how really crowded this is. This was a weekday. It wasn't even a weekend. And you can see that one of the temples, there is both a temple and a shrine in Ueno Park. This is the one of the ones that's back behind it, the temple. And the whole street was lined with these food stalls. Food stalls, food stalls, food stalls, food stalls. It was really delightful. And then they actually had some areas. So I'm going to pause at this point and talk a little bit about some of the food etiquette. You probably already know this. In Japan, it's very rude to be eating and walking at the same time. The problem is this still applies when it is food on a stick. So they either have a designated picnic table area for you to eat, which is fairly common, although that's not enough to house everybody who's eating. They also usually have areas where you can stand. Now, in this case, it was so crowded that people were standing literally in the middle of the aisle, and it was a little bit difficult to get around. But yeah, you never ever, even if it's food on a stick that's clearly, in America, you would just be, you know, going down with your corn dog, eating as you're walking down the midway at a state fair. You will not do that at a Japanese festival. You pull over to the side, usually you pull next to the stand where you bought it. Also disposing of trash, the stick itself or the plastic that your okonomiyaki came in. You don't just go dump that. There's no trash cans except at the vendors. So you have to put it back in the trash of the vendor where you bought it from, unless they have a picnic table area that has its own trash can there. Yeah, good luck finding any kind of trash can except at the vendor where you purchased it. That's why you don't usually go gather up different kinds of foods. I know you'll see this in anime a lot, especially for summer festivals, where, you know, one member of the pack of high school students goes and gathers up a whole bunch of food, and then they go sit on a quiet set of steps around the back side of the shrine, which there's no such thing as quiet set of steps in these festivals. That's really not how it works. If you do that, I mean, you can take these foods away with you, but if you do that, you are responsible for taking your trash, your rubbish back with you to your home. So you will be carrying it around with you all day, and you know, you kind of get used to carrying plastic bags with you so that you can shove your rubbish in there so that you're not getting your purse or bag or messenger bag dirty. But that was one of the things that I wanted to say. What else did I want to say? There was something else, but I cannot remember. Oh well, let's move on. As you can see, this is just more of the same festival. You can see a few of the cherry blossoms in the background there. So I was just showing you. Sometimes they do have other things at these stalls. So masks, obviously quite famous. I will let Timmy keep talking about trash. It's not trash management that's crazy important. It's usually recycling management that is complicated, but we're not going to get into that today. What else have we got? So giant sweet potatoes. You see, they are about as big as her arm. They are enormous. Sweet potatoes, another traditional festival food. They are just baked, simply baked. Sometimes they will give you a pat of butter after you've broken it open, or a little bit of salt to dip into it. But yeah, you're saying you thought it was turkey legs. No, those are sweet potatoes. And I believe, if I can see correctly, that's like 400 yen. That's like $4 for an enormous sweet potato. I mean, that's a toddler's arm size, toddler's leg size, basically. Not that I go around eating toddler's legs, but you know, it's about the same size. Maybe they're tasty, toddler's legs. And again, you can see more of these stalls. So again, if you spotted one thing, you can see somebody there is having the roasted corn. That is delicious. They take corn, they roast it, they just marinate it with soy sauce, nothing else, just plain shoyu on one of those griddles. Oh, that was the thing I was going to tell you. I'll tell you about the griddle in a minute. But yeah, so they're marinating it either over coals on a grill, as we would call it, like a barbecue, or they've got it on these flat teppanyaki grills on big flat plates, like for the okonomiyaki. And it's just roasted on heat with just soy sauce brushed onto it, nothing else, no butter. Sometimes you can ask for a buttered one, or you can ask for this one, but usually it's just soy sauce on it. It is delicious. I'm used to having corn with butter in the United States, but having that slight saltiness of the soy sauce is just a whole different experience, and they're slightly crunchy the way they've made it. Now, the thing that I was going to say about those big griddle pans, you may recall things in America called Japanese steak houses. Please remember that those are not a Japanese invention. Sorry, they're invented by a Japanese person, but they don't really have like the chefs flipping the knives and doing the presentations and things. Those were all invented for the Benihana restaurant chain in the United States. And it is actually DJ Steve Aoki's dad who created the Benihana chain. They do have those big plates, the big griddle pans, as you can see. Like that's what they were making the okonomiyaki. That's what they were cooking the octopus on. So the technology was there, but certainly this whole chef turning into the entertainment, that does not happen in Japan unless it's come very recently as a thing to entice North American tourists because they've gone to Japan looking for that type of activity. What else do we have? Oh, so this is oden, which is one of my personal favorites. Oden is usually a winter food. We're getting ready to be making that in our house probably in a week or so. The more you know rainbow. Oh, you're trying to make a Reading Rainbow reference there? I'm hoping you're trying to make a Reading Rainbow reference there. So oden is a stew that has different kinds of things in it. Now, I could have shown you a video, but I thought you'd probably get bored of me ordering. Just the fact that you can use English and kind of point and say, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then they just fish the things out of the broth. It is a delicious, flavorful broth based on dashi. And then all of the things that are in there are things that absorb broth flavors. So they tend to be quite mild or bland flavors themselves, and it just absorbs the flavor of the broth. It is delicious. All of this here was on a stick, or they gave you a stick that you could poke into it, but then they also gave you broth in the bowl, and it is wonderful. Okay, I will have to check out that link later, Lester Candy Plus Play, because I'm thinking of The More You Know, and then a rainbow appearing is from the end of Reading Rainbow. But obviously you're talking about something else. I will check out that meme later. What else do we got? More Ayu sweet fish. Again, I will show you these up close and personal, but that is a whole fish, and you're supposed to eat the whole fish. I chickened out when it got to the teeth. I was afraid they'd be crunchy, but I'll show you the one that I ate later. These used to be only in the spring because apparently that is when this Ayu sweet fish is the fattest, and the fattest is supposed to be the juiciest. They are put on a skewer in an S curve, so it looks like they're still swimming, and then they are put over a grill like that and just coated, like crusted with salt. It is delicious. You do eat the whole thing. You start at the tail and work all the way down. This is not the kind where you put the tail in the sake. This one is just grilled in this shape, and you eat the whole thing. Japanese people will eat from the tail all the way down. They'll eat the head. The bones are edible, everything. I don't tend to like eating eyes and brains. Well, not fish brain, tiny brains like that. That's not my thing, so I stop at the face. But certainly Japanese people will look at you funny, like you're wasting the best part. I really thought the teeth were going to be kind of crunchy, and I just couldn't handle that. But certainly the fins are crunchy as well. It's definitely experience. I would recommend that you try it if you're not too squeamish. Let's see, this was another very popular response on my Twitter poll, which is the candied fruit section. Now, I will say, if you are used to American-style candied fruit, so caramel apples, this is not caramel at all. This is not sticky. It is a hard candy shell. And we got some of the grapes, and they were so sweet. I mean, there were sweet grapes as it was. And then it's basically like a pure sugar hard shell on the outside of it. And it was just, I mean, I can handle a lot of sugar, but it was so much sugar, I really couldn't eat that much of it. So it's very different. It's probably a little bit better for the apple because you've got less sort of shell to fruit in there, but the tinier fruits where there's just so much of the coating on there, wow, it was overwhelmingly sweet, to be honest. But, you know, I really thought it was going to be a caramel apple experience. I just wanted to let you know it is a completely different type of experience. It is like a glass candy. Yes, that is a very good explanation for it. So it does become crunchy, and it can, if you're not paying very attention, it can flake off and fall all over the place. But it is also red. So all this red that you're seeing, you can see on her paper towels and things, the red is from the coating itself. That's not, you know, bloody strawberries on there. Although, you know, that could be kind of interesting for Halloween. You could have like drippy blood-looking strawberries, but digressing. Let's see what else we have. Here's some more of the crab that I was showing you. Obviously, those crabs in the front are probably plastic ones for show, but you can see all of the crab legs on a stick that she is cooking back there. I don't know why we didn't eat that. We should have, because I'm looking at that and I'm so hungry, and that is now on my bucket list for the next time. That looks so good. I will say the prices of these, you may have been noticing as we're going along, they start at 100 yen for some of the smaller things, like some of the oden stick things were 100 yen per skewer, but some of these others were going up to $10 and $12 a piece for the more luxury meat items. So maybe that's why I didn't have this crab. I don't know. Also, possibly we filled up on oden and maybe we saw the crab after we were already full. I don't know, but that looks so tasty. And of course, after we had the glass candy coated grapes, Timmy had to get the chocolate coated banana. And I did have a video that I'm going to spare you all, but I have a video of me asking Timmy what it tastes like, and he said it tastes banana-y. Yep, that's it. Honestly, it tastes exactly like a chocolate coated banana. I don't think it's very good quality chocolate. So again, it's not my jam. It's very, very sweet. And even though Timmy doesn't normally like sweet things, he did kind of like that. So probably just the banana part. But anyway, I don't like banana in things very much except pudding. So that's just me. Now let's move topics a little bit to Hanami. So this is sort of a festival and sort of not a festival, in that where you're going, you're gathering with friends. In this case, we went to the YouTubers Hanami. Obviously, our things are now broadcast on YouTube, count as YouTubers, and all of the YouTubers who are English speaking and some who aren't get invited to the YouTuber Hanami in Ueno Park every year in Tokyo. And I will show you a little bit of video of that in a minute. But I just wanted to say that the parks where, sorry, not Ueno Park, this is Yoyogi Park. The parks where these Hanami are very popular will also sometimes set up food stalls, so that usually you bring your own food to a Hanami party, but sometimes they have stalls set up so that if you didn't, you can go buy something. Hanami are also notorious for lots and lots and lots of drinking. We had the alcohol was provided by a sponsor, but it was beer, which I'm allergic to, so I don't know how good it was. I will leave that to Timmy to say whether that was good or not, but we will see some more. So this is Yoyogi Park. As you can see, there's a lot of people just over there. For my Tabby Eats fans, you will recognize these guys. They were the ones who invited us to this Hanami, and the Hanami, like I said, we had about 250 people. So let's go ahead and show you a little bit of video. This is just the YouTuber Hanami from where I was sitting. That's alcohol abuse, you know? So I don't know how many YouTubers you spotted. I spotted at least 7, and Mark Matsumoto, who is also on NHK World, was in the background there. So it's a really fun time. So I kind of threw that in there as a quasi-festival. Let's move to the other end of the year. This is a chrysanthemum festival, and these are usually held at temples and shrines, and it is far more sedate. It is basically like a prize-winning flower show. They also do these for spider lilies, not tiger lilies. Spider lilies, they have these events. So they just have these areas. They're kind of like sheltered greenhouses where they will bring out these flowers that have been grown specially for the year, waiting for this process. I believe there is judging. If you are British, like Timmy and I are, we're British citizens, you may be familiar with the Royal Horticultural Show. It's very similar. But again, they've set up all the food stalls outside of it. So this is a more sedate activity because you're just going and looking at these beautiful flowers, but then you can go down and eat festival foods later. This was at the temple in Narita. Narita Airport, there's actually a city of Narita that was there first. That's where the airport got its name. And this is at the Narita-san Temple, and it was in November of last year. But these are some of the lovely chrysanthemums that were on display. They were set up in probably about 10 different areas all around the temple. There was no line, there was no waiting, Yes, okay, as Timmy is clarifying, we are not British by birth. We are naturalized Britons. Timmy is Australian by birth. I'm American by birth, although I also have rights to Italian citizenship through my mother. But back to the chrysanthemums. I mean, I always thought of mums as, either I'm thinking of Texas style homecoming mums, so that's a whole different idea. Or, just the type of potted mums that you get at the grocery store, at the hardware center here. I had no idea that chrysanthemums had this many varieties to them. So I understand why they have huge festivals for it. I will just say, look, more amazake. That one was in a little paper cup, so that was really handy. I liked that. I'm going to have another sip. Cheers to all the amazake fans out there. And as you can see, this only had a few little food stalls out the front. They also had people selling other things. The pink flower is a magical, yeah, it does kind of remind you of a magical girl skirt. So this festival had about half food stalls and then about half vendors selling, special religious items. We'll talk about that more in a minute because I did go to a festival, Torinoichi, which is just about selling religious items, basically, or sorry, it's a little complicated. I'll get there in a minute. Flower petals supported by paper. Sometimes they have the entire thing that has been protected by paper until the judges come around, and then they'll open it up. So these are very meticulously tended flowers. I've also been to a rose festival. We went to a wisteria festival. There's far more than I could show you, but those didn't all have quite so much interesting food. So I, will spare you because obviously we'll be here all day if you had to look at every single festival I've been to. Let's see. So this was wonderful. This is where they sit there and they make the senbei for you. This was one of the, they did have a permanent shop, but then because of the festival, they brought a lot of the stuff outside of it so they could fry up the crackers for you as part of your festival experience. Now, let's talk about a different type of festival. So we're going to talk about the entertainment-related ones. So I have not been to many of these Odori festivals, and I haven't been to the summer ones, the Bon Odori. So Bon or Obon is the festival where the spirits of your ancestors are said to return to visit. It's a bit like Dia de los Muertos, but I have not, and then they have these bonfire dances. Now, I have not been to one of those, but they do also do the Bon style dances on the street sometimes. So that is what I have a video of. Let's see the video. Well, I hope we can get the video. Do we have a dance video? So that is the Olympic Odori dance that was created. The goal of the government is to have everyone in the opening festival of the Olympics, which the 2020 Olympics will be happening in 2021 now. They're still calling them the 2020 Olympics. That is the official dance, and they're hoping to have the entire audience sitting there and participating from their seats when that is on. I will mention normally I would not have that type of music playing, but the government has given permission for this. And I have to say I was very amused because I didn't realize until last night when I was finding that video that it's actually the same video, because it is the Olympic Odori dance that we performed at the Austin Oita Festival last year. So that music was very familiar because we were practicing for a long time and we were not anywhere near as good as those ladies. The reason why I showed you that small sample is the Odori festivals, the dance festivals, are usually teams competing against each other. Like the Awa Odori is one of the most famous, and there are probably 300 or 400 of these dance troupes that are performing throughout the city for about 4 days. And it's apparently an amazing spectacle. You can get involved. There are some teams that will let you join up on the spot. Again, not something my body can handle, but definitely a type of festival that you might be interested in going to. Let's talk about some other types of entertainment festivals. So I'm going to talk specifically about Koenji Music Festival because I did attend to that. I will mention just briefly, there's also there are cosplay festivals where you can actually cosplay on the street as opposed to only being in a certain area. That happens in Ikebukuro. There are anime festivals that are set up in Ikebukuro again, where they just have big projection screens and then you can meet some of the cast members, and it's all outdoors and it's all free. I don't have time to show you all of these, and certainly it wasn't all that exciting to sort of look at the photos, but Koenji Music Festival is really cool. It happens over one weekend in October, and literally you are just wandering around this entire neighborhood of Koenji, and about every fourth block on the street corner, there's a band performing. All different types of music. And then this is the main stage where the headline performers were. Now, when I say headline performers, these people are still like newbies or amateurs. So you can see it's not idol wrestling, but it's idols on the wrestling stage. And then after that, there was amateur pro wrestling, which of course I have a clip for you. But first, I just wanted to show you that, you know, they did have this main stage, and these were obviously very young idols. So if you've watched anime about young idols just getting their start and then having lots of creepy people come up and want to shake their hand all the time, we got to witness that in person. I have some of the videos, which I will not share with you, but it's definitely, I was surprised it wasn't old guys. It's definitely younger guys, but younger guys trying to hit on these poor little idol girls. And they weren't even popular enough to sort of have managers to keep the fans away. So we kind of felt sorry for them. But we were there to watch the wrestling. So I'll get there in a bit. This festival also had a children's area that had mascots. So the next two festivals, we're going to talk about the mascots in particular. So they also had all the food trucks. They had everything, and you could just wander around because it was spread out over an entire downtown area. There were hundreds of different things that you could interact with. We were there for an entire day, and it was a lot of fun. But in this one park, they had the mascots, and these are just mascots for Koenji. just this small neighborhood. So you know that Japan loves their mascots. They have all kinds of weird mascots for things. As Timmy showed me this week, the Supreme Court of Japan has a mascot. So everything has a mascot there. And even these small little neighborhoods. So Koenji, imagine it's kind of the size of like Pflugerville. So imagine Pflugerville itself has like 12 mascots. And you'll see that's how much of a bit of an overkill this is. But let's look at some of these. This one's actually more of a photo because you can see this is a famous TV show of the guys that ride around on their like little mopeds, but you can go have your picture. You can put your picture in that cutout as if you are one of the people on this show. But there are mascots roaming the streets. I don't know what all of these mascots are. I only know a couple of them. There are mascots. A couple friends of mine are guest cameoing in there. The mascots that you can go up and greet. They are performing dances, comedy routines. Unfortunately, my Japanese was not good enough to understand a lot of it. Mascots that are just coming up and hugging you randomly. This guy, look at his abs, his very plush abs. I don't understand a lot of these, but you know, it happens. Do we have, it looks like Twitch is not going. Can someone still a Can you see or hear anything? No, I mean, it still looks frozen on my screen. Melissa, I don't know what we're doing. Oh, it's my internet that's going, but you can still see me. Okay, so apparently you guys can see and hear me. I apologize for all this. You guys can see and hear me, but I cannot see anything that is going on Twitch except the chat. So let me go ahead. I'm going to reboot my Twitch. I'm going to keep going here. So hopefully you guys can see Cyberman. There we go. I apologize that it's my internet that is acting up because I can see in one screen that's on the other screen. It's an error time. Okay, put that out for the replays. Why is this only for tuning? I'm working on a remix. No, I feel like I could have the first mix to begin with. Let's talk about the Cybermen, Ultramen guys. Most of these mascots do have handlers, so that if you want to go up and interact with the ones who don't have obvious mouths, then you can interact with their little assistants. And sometimes their assistants are really cute girls. So I imagine they get lots of guys coming up to hit on them as well. Let me get in the correct window. Here we go. Again, I think these guys did a little bit of a performance, so that was entertaining. I like this guy, an adorable little mascot. You can see it bigger. I think it's some kind of mouse melon pan. It's definitely a melon pan, but I'm not sure why it looks like a bear. I don't know. Again, these are all interesting Koenji. They're all very specific to this neighborhood, and even though my friends lived there, they didn't really know exactly what all of these little guys are. I like this one. It's a kappa. It just looks so sad. I don't know why it looks sad, but it looks sad. But you could go up and hug him later. It's adorable. And then Chef Chef was my favorite. I thought he was really cute. And certainly when I got to meet Chef Chef, you'll see in a few minutes. I like this mascot a lot because it is a witch character, and you'll see it has like a little thing in its mouth. Apparently, this mascot is their Halloween mascot, and this festival is like the week before Halloween. And so this is a witch that eats small animals. And so all these adorable women, you see there's an eat a bag in the background. Ooh, I didn't even notice that. Eat a bags in the wild. Women would come up and hand their stuffed animals to this mascot, and then it would pretend to eat them. And I have no idea what the concept is, but yes, there was this whole line of cute girls in their plushies handing it to be eaten by this witchy thing. So that is the concept of this mascot, and I like it because it's interactive, but it's also kind of creepy that it's eating all your things. And then there is me with Chef. I thought that was definitely my favorite. I thought he was adorable. Although, I mean, I like the witch one, but it was a little creepier. And as you can see, plenty of food options in the background. This mascot in particular was wandering around, especially in the food area, several times. As you can see, this drew quite a hipster crowd, and also an aging hipster crowd. But it was very, very early South by Southwest vibes. So I thought it was really cool. It's probably one of my favorite modern style festivals that I attended. It's definitely not a traditional festival by any sense of the way, but it was really fun, really entertaining. Some of the mascots, though, are a bit, what are they thinking? I don't know what this one is. I mean, it even has a sign that explains it, but it's a mountain. But that's nobody put any time into this mascot. It's ridiculous. But some of these, this one apparently is one of the spokespeople of the entire Koenji area, and that is a daikon radish. So I feel sorry for that person who has to dress up as the daikon, but apparently it's a daikon that represents the mayor in some ways. Yeah, some of these obviously are much more adorable than others. But remember, we saw those girls in the wrestling ring. I'm going to show you a little bit of amateur pro wrestling. Now, we do not have the sound on this, so I will be giving you some of my impressions, because, again, we were having some copyright issues and wanted to make sure we took the music out of the background. So let's get this up. Look at these guys posing. Now, I want to explain that amateur pro wrestling in Japan really is amateurs doing fake pro wrestling. There is absolutely no question that this is fake. And in fact, it is all a comedy routine. These people win prizes based on how funny they are. They do kind of do some wrestling moves, but as you will see, they're very gentle. No one's getting hurt, and they are not competing on athletic prowess. They are competing on showmanship. There are entire events, like competitions, that are pretty hilarious. And let me see, I think I have the bit where, so these guys are still at the showing off part. This guy just kind of climbs up there, and again, they're just trying to get the crowd riled up a little bit. They have professional announcers, performers performing work spots at predetermined outcomes. I'm not even sure how much of these are predetermined outcomes, because again, it is comedy. So as you can see, they are doing some moves, but they're very simple moves, and they have teams that are fighting each other. But you can see that was a fake punch. They're not even trying. It turns into a slap fight at this point. I was laughing so hard at this point because they're literally just slapping each other back and forth, like the Marx Brothers or something. Let me see what else comes up. I think I have this guy. So that guy is one of the bulls. The guy with the green hat. So obviously they're taking some of the Mexican style wrestling masks, but then all they're doing is throwing each other into the ropes. It's not even really physical of any kind, but the crowd is laughing and clapping. And this guy, he's doing his bull run up. He's doing a bull run up. Like I said, it is pure comedy gold. And I thought it was really hilarious. Yes, there's a white label Denny's in the background, which is very entertaining. White label Denny's are apparently where they have chefs that can make any custom order that you like. So let's move on from Koenji just a little bit. This is Fushimi Inari in Kyoto, and I honestly don't know why there was a festival there. No clue. But because of that, I got to wear my lovely fox messenger outfit today, just as a representative of the Inari festivals. We were there. This was at like 7 in the morning, so the stalls were just setting up. We have no idea what was going on that day because we did not stay that long. If you go to Fushimi Inari or any of the major temples and shrines in Kyoto, you really need to aim to be there well before 8 in the morning because that's when the crowds start coming, and the crowds also include middle school tour groups. So it can get really irritating when you've got sort of like 150 middle schoolers suddenly surrounding you. I didn't decide to show you any photos or video of it, but also when the flea markets are on. So if you guys watched my show about markets and temple sales 2 months ago, temple and shrine sales, then they do set up all of these food stalls as well, although some of them are the type of food that you would take home, so like pickles and other condiments that we use in daily household cooking. Then they also have all of the food on a stick that you can eat there at the time. That's where we had some beautiful grilled fresh bamboo shoots. But again, we were just at this shrine, and we still have no idea what this festival was about, or if it was even a festival, or if it's just to catch the tourists who happen to be there. But you can literally stumble into these just about anywhere. Now I'm going to move on to the last type of festival in my entertainment section, which is the sort of regional themed festivals. We did talk about how they're like a Japan-Indonesian festival. This one was a regional part of Japan. They have festivals to promote them, and this was Okinawa, which we actually didn't know while we were there. We found out because if you follow the Mondo Mascots account on Twitter or on social media, this person posts about mascots all the time. Mondo Mascots actually identified these mascots for us, so that's how we found out that these were a lineup of Okinawan mascots. And they did later on have a video, which was too long, so I'm not going to show you, of all of them going up on stage and introducing themselves. And there were about 25 mascots of different varieties. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear very well, and then of course it was in Japanese, so we didn't really know all of it. But there were tons of the mascots. Then there were tons of wonderful food items, not necessarily all from Okinawa, I will say. I'm pretty sure some of these vendors come regularly, but they also had handmade artisanal art pieces and handmade sake, regional sakes and things like that. So I'll just say, if you go to Ueno Park on a weekend, and it's not during Sakura season, because obviously during Sakura season, they've already got things set up, but there's usually something going on the weekend. Unfortunately, it's not always fun. One time I did go, and it was a Sustainable Energy Expo, which was really boring, and there was no food there. We were actually going looking to eat festival food, and there was nothing there. But there was still a festival. It was more of an expo. But most of the time, I'd say probably you've got more than a 50-50 chance. If you're at Ueno Park on a weekend, maybe going to the National Museums, the Royal Museums, usually there's all kinds of interesting things in the central bit in the middle. So let's see some more of the items that we have at the Okinawan Festival. We have more mascots. No, I don't know what they are. I mean, one is clearly like fish and wheat. What is that? Is it pickled fish? Is it like brand pickled fish? I don't know. Is it flying fish? Is the other guy cabbage or a daikon? I mean, I can read what it says, but that's the mascot's name, not because it says Ogurine. What does green mean? I don't know. Something green. I have no concept. But again, they have mascots for everything. They don't always have merchandise for the mascots though, because I want the Fabric Town mascot, and all I have is a photo of it. They don't even sell anything. Oh, so disappointing. Let's see, more mascots. We have cow. They did have a lot of beef for sale, but then they sold out just before we got there, so we didn't get to eat it. They did have all the usual suspects. They had Thai, which is the red sea bream, basically, which is for good luck and good health, and is a celebratory thing. But as you can see, that was $8. But they also had the kakigori, which I did get. I have a slightly fuzzy photo, apologies, but as you can see, that is coming out already flavored, and this was a mango flavored kakigori. So it was frozen that way as opposed to having the syrup on top. That is what it looked like after it was shaved. It was delicious. Yes, Timmy said the cow mascot picked a fight with him. It did. Like, I don't even know. I will let him tell that story at another time. But some of these mascots are just trying to be entertaining. And then sometimes they just keep bumping into my wheelchair, which is really annoying. But that's another story. Let me show you. There's the Ayu sweet fish. I finally got brave enough to eat it after seeing it. It was like the 5th time that I saw it. And I did finally get brave enough to eat it. Let me see if you can see my cursor. I don't know if you can see my cursor on the screen. You probably can't. Okay, so I ate basically down to the cheeks. I could see that there were a couple of other of the heads in the trash bin, but clearly that was the foreigners. And the Japanese people were like, you should really eat the whole thing. But look at the teeth are on there. I'm sure the teeth were crunchy, and I just couldn't, you know. I know I'm embarrassed, but I couldn't eat the teeth, especially given how crunchy the fins were. But you didn't have to worry about the bones at all. I mean, that's why this fish is very popular for this type of event. So let me just check. There will be a quick, sorry, I just got a message. There will be something else coming up in just a minute. But let's see what else we got. Oops, I need to be in the right window, y'all. I'm getting too old to multitask. So I did say there were artisanal products. So this is temari, which is a Japanese craft that involves wrapping decorative thread or sewing decorative thread around a soft fabric core. This used to be just for making elaborate balls for children to play with, although now it is an art form. I did buy a couple of those. They now are, I did get some to my mom and some to me, so you can actually see the one on the bottom right hand at the very front row. I bought that for my mom. She has it in her office. And then the one that kind of looks like a poinsettia I have for my Christmas tree. So we do have a video that we are going to have to show Timmy something. I haven't seen it, so we will see this in a second. But anyway, they had handcrafts that you could purchase. They had local specialty foods that you could purchase. That's more of the temari. These were so ridiculously inexpensive. I know how really time-consuming temari is, but they were selling these for sort of $5 to $10 a piece, and I know that these are 20 hours in some of them just to make them because the stitching is elaborate. I will not be teaching this on Make Your Monday because it's way too complicated. However, I do know a teacher here in Austin who is qualified to teach it. Once we can, you know, have classes live again, if you guys are interested in learning temari, I can get Cheryl. Cheryl's already agreed to do that if we want to have a live class on making these. There also were these handmade knives, which Timmy definitely bought one of. So they sort of have a sheath on them. These are actually like a wood saw. So if you're out and you need to cut some kindling to make yourself a fire out in the forest, we did get one of the small ones that has the case on top of it. They had knives as well, but we'd already bought several knives. But yeah, these are all handmade in Okinawa. They brought them up for this festival. They had a number of the craftspeople there demonstrating their crafts. So this was really just to advertise Okinawa to the rest of people in Tokyo, saying, hey, go vacation in Okinawa, which, I mean, we're sold on it. That's totally fine. Oh, to be fair, my dad did used to live there. Okay, so we've got some videos. So we do have a surprise video. I don't know what it is, so let's watch that. I hope it Oh, the poor mascot! It was like the reverse. It was like the cow mascot was beating up on Timmy instead. But oh my goodness, that poor guy. Well, I have another mascot video that I promise is less violent. Let's see if we can get that one going.
日本一の大河信濃川を舞台にした長岡の大花火大会は日本三大花火大会の一つで8月2日と3日の2日間大迫
That was a short little segment of it. I hope you guys enjoyed. So I'm just reading down in the chat here. Caught a video Karaki mentioned a Japanese businessman and mascot. I absolutely did not see that one. I did not know that was coming. I have never, as Timmy is also saying, I've never beat up a mascot. Have been beaten up by a mascot. That is totally different. Well, I've been hit in the wheelchair by a mascot, but they probably don't know where they're going. That's another story. But that was my assortment of the entertainment festivals. Now let's move to religious festivals. I will say, again, I have not been to any of the biggest religious festivals. So like the Gion Matsuri or the ones at Sensoji that have the parades. So what you'll usually see in a religious festival is they have what is called a mikoshi, a portable shrine. Oh, I should have grabbed the photo. I do have a photo of the mikoshi because if you go to Asakusa Station in the Tokyo Metro, you can see the mikoshi behind glass when they're not using it. There's also a mikoshi that you can see in the, I believe it's the Edo Tokyo Museum, one of the historical museums. You can see another mikoshi there while it's not in use. But, you know, the point of a mikoshi is that all of these shrines, there is a kami. So you probably can't see well on my shirt. This does say kami-sama on it. I'm not going to comment as to whether it's talking about me or about these guys. You can make your own decision. But yes, there is a kami that is enshrined that lives in the main shrine. And they basically take it on a road trip. The kami is considered to move into the mikoshi, which is a portable shrine, and then people are carrying the portable shrine on big, long rods and dancing around the streets with it, so that the kami is touring around the neighborhood to give blessings to the neighborhood at this one particular festival. So usually once a year, every kami goes on a little trip around town. It's quite an honor to be one of the people carrying the mikoshi. They are incredibly heavy. So apparently you wind up with like terrible scabs and bruises on your shoulders if you're one of them. Sometimes there are all women mikoshi carrying crews. And then also sometimes there are just parades that are acting out religious scenes on top of the parade floats, a bit more like an American style parade. But even still, a lot of those are hand carried as opposed to motorized. Unfortunately, I do not have any of those to show you personally, but that is the easiest thing for you to find on YouTube, or you can Google. You just look up the term for festival in Japanese is matsuri, Matsuri. I will go ahead and type that in chat right now. Matsuri. So you may know that the Japan American Society of Greater Austin did have their virtual Matsuri yesterday. Not sure if that went up online, if they have the replay of it available. I haven't seen whether that's gone up. Also, the Austin Oita Sister City Committee, which I'm a board member of, we had to take our usual Oita Matsuri to virtual, and that is all on our YouTube. We had 35 videos of interesting things. Thank you for that. So the Austin Oita Festival is hopefully going to be happening again next August, and we are looking at getting an Okashikan guest that is Melancholia to perform next year. But that's all assuming that we are allowed to have any type of event next August. I mean, who knows at this point. But let's go back to religious festivals. So this is Hanazono Shrine in Shinjuku, but this festival also happens at Sensoji Temple, and they are the same festival. They happen more or less the same time. One day overlaps and the other day didn't overlap. So they're 2 days each, but one of them, they had different days. So there's 3 days in total. I only went to the one at Hanazono Shrine because you can't quite see, but to the left of this picture is a tall office building that is owned by the shrine. And that is where I attend Japanese language school. It's called Genki-Jax Japanese and Cultural School. So we actually watched for weeks them building all of these, putting up all of the stalls and putting up all of these chochin lanterns, and we were just so excited that by the time the festival actually came around, we were very excited to be able to attend, because we've been watching and hearing the hammering and everything as they put up the scaffolding and whatnot. The point of a Torino Ichi festival is called the Rake Festival. Mine are up there. I'm not going to grab them down. I do have photos to show you, but it is, you buy a rake that has all of these rakes. The priests have gone around to bless them, and it's supposed to rake in customers and rake in money for your business. And so since Timmy and I both have businesses, we have small rakes that I purchased. The tradition is that every year you get a slightly bigger rake. So every time you get, you start off with the smallest rake. You really, when you go, you want to buy the tiny, tiny little one. And that is not because you're being stingy. It's just because you're supposed to start small. Akashikan says we need a rake. Absolutely. If we go there, it's in early November. So if we're there in early November, or if I'm still in the country, I will get Akashikan a rake, and I will show you some that have a really good, I think there's some that would be appropriate for Akashikan. So not only is it a rake, these are highly decorative rakes, and all of the little items on there are symbolic. Sorry, Timmy. Rake in the forest. So there's no forest fires. Yeah, we're not going to comment on that. You all know what we're talking about. I am not going to rake in the forest. But yeah, so all of these items on there are symbolic luck charms. So some of the ones we got, usually, I got a traditional one. I bought it from the shrine itself. I'm staring at it right now. I should really have brought it down, but I didn't, because you have to get a ladder to get up. We have a Kamirana, which is a home shrine, just up there. But yeah, I didn't get the ladder to get everything down, unfortunately. But the one that I got, it has a small rake. It has a wheat sheaf, which is basically to bring some prosperity, so that you have plenty of food. It has a coin on it to bring money. It has all these little symbolic items on there. But some of these symbolic items, they're taking to quite liberal interpretations of. And I love this because these are personal artisans. They spend all year making these rakes. Let's see some of the crazy stuff that they make. Oh, I'm talking about rakes. These are some of the rakes. Yeah, there's actually a rake in there. But as you can see, they are covered with symbolic items. Sometimes they are covered with lucky cats. Every single one of these has some kind of meaning. In this particular photo, I will say I went around with my childhood friend, Yoshimi, who I went to high school with. She was an exchange student, and we have known each other since we were about 16. And she honestly didn't know what every single one of these symbols is, and she's lived in Japan for most of her life. And then sometimes they're just they get modern things out there. So they are getting, as you'll see in a minute, they've decided to adapt. So I don't know what kind of luck or blessings they would bring, but you can see, sorry, Timmy is wandering around. Do not try to get up there. You will knock that over onto my head. Sorry, he was trying to be helpful, but I guarantee you can't get up there without the ladder. Let's just look at some more of these other rakes. Whoops, gotta get in the right window. I'm losing it, y'all. As I said, so every year you're supposed to go back and get a slightly bigger one and a slightly bigger one until they get enormous. Now the tiny ones sell for, I think they started at about $4. And I think the one that I got, because I bought it directly from the shrine, I kind of thought maybe that would be even more blessed because it was made by the shrine. I don't know. Apparently there's not supposed to be that much difference, but I like the traditional one. And then for Timmy, I got the more modern one. But, every year you're supposed to trade up and get a bigger and bigger and bigger until some of these are like standing. They're like 4 or 5 feet tall, and then they get very, very expensive. So we're talking $1,000 for some of the larger ones. But obviously, they also have some of these signs. Now, some of these would be like family names or product names. This is so you can customize your rake. You don't just buy this little sign by itself. It's just these signs are ones that they can tuck into the rake to customize it a little bit more for your specific business. There are, I guess, about 9 or 10 different aisleways, and each aisleway has 10 to 15 stalls. Now remember, this is at the smaller festival, which is at Hanazono Shrine. The Sensoji temple one is probably 2 or 3 times the size. Now, I don't think there's any reason specifically to go to the Sensoji one as opposed to the Shinjuku one unless you happen to be staying out in that area of Tokyo and it's more convenient. I did have friends who went to both and they said is pretty much the same thing. You can see the guys in the happy coats. Timmy collects happy coats, so I got that photo of him because that's a gorgeous one with a beautiful crane on his back. But you can see some of these are starting to get quite large. I mean, some of them are adorable. So when I said, you know, ones that might be suitable for Akashikan, you were supposed to put these like on a wall or in a prominent place. But look at those adorable little cats, the adorable lucky cats. Some of them are little boxes that just have like all the different colors of lucky cats because each color of lucky cat is supposed to be symbolic for something. They are so cute, and we could definitely get a very kawaii rake. Even though these are in boxes, they still have a rake in them. I'm not sure if you see that, like the little pink cat, there is a rake sitting next to it, so it still counts. You know, it doesn't have to be mounted on the rake. There just has to be a rake as part of the arrangement. These are some of the smaller ones. So this is similar to the kind that we got. So, you know, this would probably be the next size up from the one that I got last time. So this is probably the size that I would go to the next time I'm at a Tori-no-Ichi festival. Now, generally you do bring your rake back after the end of the year and return it to the shrine so that it can be thanked and recycled. Honestly, they take the bits apart. Just traditionally they would have been burned as offerings, but now I notice they're just taking all the parts off and reusing them for next year's rakes. But they still are given a memorial and blessing service to thank them for their service. You know how Marie Kondo is very much into thanking items before you give them away. It's all part of that same mentality that, you know, you want to be very respectful and grateful for what the item has given to you during its life in service. But of course, there is more food. Now, the shrine itself was where they had these, the stalls selling the rakes, but then all around the shrine. So there was another street down the back, and then all the streets all the way around the shrine, and then the entrance to the shrine, it was all food, 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 food. I have never seen so much food in one spot, festival food. And as you see, I've been to several festivals, but this had the most. Now, remember I said that sweet fish is usually a spring thing. This was in November. They're still eating sweet fish. Although this one has been prepared a little differently. I didn't try it again because, oh, sorry, we're a little bit out of order here. You can see the rakes are getting bigger and bigger. These are on huge bamboo poles. Let's see what else we have. So sorry, that sweet fish was just totally out of, maybe you could put the sweet fish on the rake. Maybe that's why I put that in there. No, I think I just had it out of order, so I apologize. But you can see I don't even understand what some of these are. There's like giant dragons on them. There's, you know, that is a, the god of thunder over there. I don't even know what all of these symbolisms are, but I saw some. I'm not sure if I put the photos in here. Some of them have Hello Kitty in them. These are the ones with all the lucky cats, which I totally want. Let's see what else we have. I saw some that had like Cupid dolls. So there's something for every taste and every budget. This is the one that I did buy for Timmy. You can't really see it terribly well in this photo. I'm not sure if I put the other photo in here. We will see. But look at that. There were some that had like Pokemon on them. There's the Hello Kitty. I love the like Marabou feathers on there. I can't even tell what all critters there are. There's some dogs and some cats. Now, I have no idea what sort of blessing you would get, but I think we could definitely find something that would be totally adorable for Akashikan. So y'all give us big thumbs up if you think Akashikan needs one of these super kawaii ones. Again, there were just so many of these stalls. You can see they go from teeny tiny all the way down on the table to enormous up at the top there. And honestly, some of those are a couple $1,000s, those large ones. Now back to the food. Sorry, that sweet fish just wants to jump in wherever it is not welcome, which I don't blame it because it's tasty. But you can see here, they don't even bother to like hide all these boxes of the fresh fish and the fresh meat outside. But this is more of your yakitori, yakitori next to your candy apples. Oh, here we go. What? I just really got these all out of order. I apologize, y'all. This is the one with the giant Kewpie doll. And the reason I put this one in the food section is because Kewpie dolls are associated with Kewpie mayo. So I have absolutely no idea. Thanks. Because I didn't eat the head that I am cursed to keep seeing the sweet fish. Well, I will eat another sweet fish and not the head again. And then I'm cursed to eat more sweet fish, right? I'm good with that. It's like for New Year's Day, we eat, beans and greens. So beans are for luck, greens are for money, and then we add bacon. And people are like, well, what does bacon attract to you? And we've decided it's just more bacon. So I'm okay with, having to eat sweet fish, and then that just means you have to eat more sweet fish. That's fine. But yeah, as you can see, they're just starting to get crazy with some of these. But Kewpie, so I was showing you, Kewpie associated with Kewpie mayo, and here we've got the okonomiyaki. Now this one had bacon strips on top of it. This is what I ate that day. I guarantee it was lovely. I went there again with my friend Yoshimi from high school because we had made this agreement that we were going to meet up and eat okonomiyaki. But we made the agreement we were going to go to the festival and then go find okonomiyaki at a restaurant nearby. But then they had okonomiyaki at the festival. But because I didn't see this stand get set up in advance, because it was out in the street, like literally the street, like, some of those big main streets in Shinjuku, that whole area, the whole walkway was set up with all of these stalls. So I didn't know how much food was going to be there. And we ate ourselves stuffed. We had amazake, we had the okonomiyaki, we had some like candied nuts and things. Oh, it was delicious. Here are more of the strangely colored bananas on a stick. You can see they have little faces on them. I think it's adorable, but probably the Hello Kitty on a stick were the ones that had, they would have had little Hello Kitty instead of, I think those are little like teddy bear cookies. I'm not quite sure. I mean, they look like the child from The Mandalorian, but I think they're actually koala bears. But still, look at those little faces on the bananas. I'm not sure I could eat a banana that had like a face and was talking to me, but it's pretty cute. Now, this was the amazake, and but not only did they sell the amazake, you can see the pot in the background, which is where they're selling the drink itself, but they actually have the pre-mixed amazake there, and they say you can drive. What they mean is this is non-alcoholic. There is a type of amazake that you can make using sake leaves that has a very, very tiny amount of alcohol in it. We will be trying that probably in the near future, but it's like 0.5%. It's what we'd call near beer levels of alcohol. There's very little alcohol in it, but you wouldn't necessarily serve that to small children. So this one is completely alcohol free, and then you could have bought the supplies to go and make it at home. I couldn't because I was coming to how is it 9%? It's not 9% alcohol in the, that's what sake is, not the sake. The amazake is not 9% alcohol. That's what like a sparkling sake is. That's not, sorry. For the sake leaves version, how is it 9%? Okay, I will trust that's what the recipe said. Okay, we're going to have to try that out. We will get back to you because over the holidays, we're going to be trying that out. So, wow, that would be pretty intense to have a 9% alcohol amazake. So, yeah, Jacob is saying sake is 15 to 17%, but I was talking about the sparkling sake that you can get at Texas Sake. So if you guys have not been to Texas Sake, you can actually get curbside delivery, so you don't have to go in. And they have sparkling sake, which is 8 to 9%. It comes in like blood orange, cucumber, mango, lots of other flavors. They do have seasonal flavors, so it's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, they aren't in a lot of stores right now. They could come in cans. They aren't in a lot of stores at the moment, so you do have to go to Texas Sake itself, but that is in East Austin. So if y'all are here in Central Texas, you can just pop over there and get that, and maybe a dragon fruit one was delicious. They do have seasonal ones, so some of them are only available certain times of the year. They also have a yuzu sake, not sparkling, but regular, that they normally only sell on tap, but you can bring a container and they will sell you a bottle's worth of it. If you were bringing back one of the sake bottles, Texas sake bottles. So that is delicious. And I know sometimes we get some Texas sake to be able to sell at the bar at Okashicon. So I don't know if in the future we'll be able to get some of this sparkling sake. That may depend on Texas sake and the hotel. But certainly we can ask because it's lovely. Sparkling sake is crisp and refreshing and can be very fruity. And I happen to like it quite a bit. But this particular amazake, this is the non-alcoholic kind, but I like the fact that they didn't say it's non-alcoholic. They just said you can drive. I'm like, oh, I can't drive anyway. You know, that's another story. But again, more fish on a stick. I love how, so this is where you can really see how they do it. So I didn't pick this photo just to show you fish on a stick, but to show you there is actually charcoals in the center there. And so they are stuck into basically like a gravel pit around there. And you can see the guy is turning it. So that they do cook even. Yes, my friends, ayu. I have watched videos of them raising the ayu and like how ayu is farmed and everything. Of course, that is NHK World. Speaking of which, I will remind you, I know Lester Candy Cosplay and some others, you guys watch Japanology and Japanology Plus. The latest Japanology Plus does have Josh Grisdale of Accessible Japan. He was someone we were trying to get an interview with. I do help write with Accessible Japan. So although I am really overdue on some of my assignments, but hopefully I will get an interview with him. It will have to be pre-recorded because he is in Japan and the time difference just doesn't work for our afternoon show. But yes, go watch the still rather attractive for his age Steve Barakan on Japanology Plus interviewing my friend Josh Grisdale. That should be up right now on NHK World. So back to my friends, the sweet fish. Let's also go over, they do have sweets as well. So this is actually not sweets, this is takoyaki. So this is associated with Osaka, but takoyaki is very much a festival food. The reason why I don't happen to show it very much in my photos is I am allergic to octopus. I mean, I love octopus. Do not get me wrong, it's delicious, but I am super allergic, have to go to the hospital bad, not in a good way when it comes to any kind of mollusk. And unfortunately, octopus is a mollusk, even though normally mollusks are like bivalves and shells like scallops, clams, but also octopus and jellyfish are considered mollusks. And yeah, I wind up very, very sick. But now they do apparently make some kinds of takoyaki that don't have octopus in them. But I need a translator to make sure I get the right one, and I just haven't had that experience yet. But that's coming up. I will do it. Here's more of our yakitori, although obviously this is not tori. This looks like there's definitely some wagyu on there, and it looks like some pork, possibly. I'm not sure, but that's obviously all red meat, so there is no chicken. Yeah, see, y'all are just starting to drool. I told you, have snacks ready. I probably need even more snacks but no, we are getting ready to come to the end of the presentation, I promise. This is some of the pre-made items that you can buy and take home with you. So he's not cooking these really on the spot. You can just take them home. And my watch is dinging for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's telling me to get a move on. We're getting there, we're getting there. These are the squid. Squid is also a mollusk I cannot eat, but you have probably seen this in a ton of anime where they slice the squid and it kind of blossoms open and they eat the whole thing on the stick. Very classic anime festival dish, but very much I can't eat. Here is a yakisoba guy. Again, I'm just showing the big pans that they have. I want that big pan. In fact, my dad really wants that big pan. I don't know what we'd do with it, but I would love to have something like that. You can get smaller okonomiyaki pans for your house. These are just dango. I definitely had dango at that festival. I had that one. That's the sweet soy sauce, the mitarashi dango. That was delicious. I was so full at that point, and I still had some to take home with me, and I ate it in my apartment later that night. Okay, I just want to have some very, very short videos at the end. So one of the things when you buy one of the bigger rakes, not the tiny ones like I did, but the bigger rakes, they will do this little blessing ritual for you. So I have 2 short clips of it so you can just see what it's like. I mean, it's nothing terribly exciting for each individual, but you know, you're hearing it constantly throughout the festival. So every time someone spends a certain amount of money on a rake, the vendor will come out and do the little clapping thing. We tried to, there's really no way to directly translate it. It's basically like them doing a hip hip hooray for you, because banzai is just, you know, sort of congratulations or happiness, felicitations to you. It's not a religious ritual part of it. It's just a hey, thanks, or you know, you go have a good year for your business. It's a cheer. It's not a rite or cantation or anything. This photo is just to show you that there are other festivals that I can't really represent. This is the Dolls Festival, which is in March of every year. It used to be called Girls' Day, but it's not anymore. It's the Doll Festival. And these are just, normally there are emperors and an empress and the entire court, and you would buy them all. And so some very wealthy families would have, you know, sort of like 20 of these different dolls that they set up. And you can now go to some certain towns that have elaborate displays of these dolls just in the shop windows, and it becomes an entire event. So this used to be something that only happened in the home, and now it happens sort of on a citywide level, a bit like your the crèche in France. So, you know, here we have the nativity for Christmas, but a crèche in France is like the characters that you would have in the nativity, but then also all of the local professions would be represented. So you've got the butcher and the baker and you know, the tailor and the maid and the milkmaid and everything else. And so they'll have these huge displays of nativity that have like 200 different characters in them, and they're set it up, the whole town sets it up. So that's just another, there's so many types of festivals. Again, I really can't cover them all, and we're running short of time. So I am just going to end this. This is how to contact me. You guys probably already know this. In fact, you know that I have both Kintsugi Style and Julian in Japan email addresses. Email address is going on the bottom. I would really love your feedback as far as what you would like for me to do next year. I only have planned through March at this period of time, but I would like to know what you would like to see, because I have, you know, I still have 15,000 photos and about 3,000 videos, and we can talk about what you want to talk about. But I know that, you know, obviously things like budget travel were very popular, and things like specific events. I only have my diehard fans. I really appreciate you guys being here. But if you would let me know so that I can make plans, I want to make you guys happy and make it worth your while for when you come and spend some time with us. So do appreciate you guys. Melissa just loves popping that up. It's absolutely true. Although that is more of a make your Monday thing. Never use your regular scissors for our fabric, or never use your fabric scissors for something else. Either one. Don't do it. Fabric scissors for fabric, paper scissors for paper. And that is all that we have. So thank you guys very much. Really appreciate your comments. Really appreciate your time. You're probably all going to want to go eat something because you're probably as hungry as I am. But thank you. Once again, now remember, tonight we have a special edition of Demo Doom Okashikan starting tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, where the lads are going to be playing Doom tonight and have some kind of special event that they haven't even told us what it's about. So it's a nice surprise. Otherwise, we will see you on December 5th for Anime Afternoons, where we'll be celebrating the holidays and seeing some really cool new artists. You guys haven't seen a lot of them, or even if the ones that you have seen before has totally new merchandise. So do come back December 5th at 3 p.m. Central Time, and we will see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.